Rahul Mamkootathil, the expelled Congress MLA from Kerala, is facing a string of 3 nearly identical sexual assault cases, all marked by allegations of false promises of marriage, intimate relations, and coerced responses when pregnancy resulted. The expelled leader has now been arrested in the 3rd case of rape and sexual assault registered against him in early January 2026. What begs attention now is the pattern of abuse and exploitation witnessed in the multiple cases against him. In each complaint, women have told police that Mamkootathil initiated a relationship by promising marriage only to later withdraw that promise after sex. The latest FIR registered in January 2026 alleges the MLA promised marriage, demanded a child, and then forced the woman to undergo an abortion and financially exploited her. Police say the woman met him through social media amid marital difficulties, and despite his assurances, he refused responsibility when she became pregnant. This pattern, promise of marriage, sexual intimacy, pregnancy, and then coercion or abandonment has been at the center of all 3 FIRs against Mamkootathil. Investigators now allege the conduct was not isolated and show evidence from chats, voice notes, and testimonies to support the complaints. With Mamkootathil being previously granted interim protection and anticipatory bail in the previous 2 cases by the Kerala High Court and a Sessions Court respectively, his arrest in the 3rd case marks a decisive moment in the continuous abuse of power that we've witnessed by him. And with that, let's take you through what exactly this 3rd case is and the charges he now faces. Let me take you through those details, viewers. Now, why has Rahul Mamkootathil been arrested? Let me tell you that. Now, he's an expelled Congress MLA, Rahul Mamkootathil, who has been arrested in Palakkad, Kerala. Can we have the next slide? Yes. Now, arrest in connection to a 3rd sexual assault case registered against him. The complaint registered by a woman accusing him of sexual assault and forced abortion. The woman stated that she came in contact with him through social media. The woman stated that she was facing problems in her marriage at the time. The complaint says the 2 later entered into a relationship during which he promised to marry her. The complainant states that marriage would become easier if she became pregnant. She says, however, that he later forced her to abort the pregnancy and questioned the paternity of the child. She alleged that the mental stress caused by this led to a miscarriage. The complainant also accuses the expelled MLA of seeking financial favors from her. She stated that Mamkootathil took money from her on several occasions. What happens now? Let's talk about that, viewers. Now, he is remanded to 14 days judicial custody, SID probing 2 other cases against him, and has taken over the investigation. So now, for rape, the BNS section 64, the allegation of sexual intercourse on the false promise of marriage. That is, of course, the section on him now, that applies on him. Now, the BNS section 64/2 offence occurred multiple times over a period. BNS section 318 viewers. Now, this is allegedly deceived the complainant by promising marriage and later did not eventually marry her, of course. Now, BNS section 351. So, alleged threats and pressure when complainant demanded accountability. Section 115 by 2. This is mental and emotional trauma alleged due to exploitation and abandonment. So this, of course, viewers, is the entire gamut of what really this man has done. I have my guests joining me on the discussion. I have Charuvali Khanna, former member, National Commission for Women; Shamshravesh Rain, advocate at the Supreme Court; Sanjay Sahai, former IPS officer; and Venkat Narayan, senior journalist. I'd like to begin by welcoming all my guests, and I want to go across first to Charu Khanna. Now, Charu, whatever has been done, there are 2 points that I want to discuss with you, but I'm going to begin by what we're really talking about at this point, which is the kind of stuff that this man has done. He has absolutely exploited his position of power. What would you like to say?
I think it's really condemnable that, of course, I think he's an expelled MLA, but for a public representative, he should show exemplary conduct. And whether it was the Sengar case or this case, whenever the public chooses someone and they are getting their salary from the taxpayers' money, I think they have to be held at a higher level of accountability. And indulging in this kind of crime, sexually exploiting women, raping them, promising marriage. I mean, I understand that maybe you intended to have a relationship with someone and it didn't work out, or you can't be held liable to to marriage. But something like this is absolutely atrocious, and especially when you're a public representative. I think the strongest action should be taken against him, and the BNS sections have been applied, but I feel that some more stringent sections should have been applicable to him, because he was in a position of power and he abused the trust and he abused his authority as a public representative.
I want to now go across to Shamshravesh Rain, advocate at the Supreme Court. Now, Shamshravesh, there are 3 FIRs with strikingly similar allegations as promise of marriage, sexual relations, pregnancy, subsequent coercion or abandonment. Now, legally, how important is pattern in such cases?
It is, of course, when there is a background wherein the person has earlier also committed a similar offense. So for that, the court sees the seriousness in that matter. And when it is seen that the person is a habitual offender, wherein there are multiple other matters also that are lodged against him, there the court would consider not granting him bail, and of course PD trial would be there, but not granting him bail would be considered in such kind of a matter.
I want to go to Mr. Sanjay Sahai, former IPS officer. Now, Mr. Sahai, the question really is that what is the kind of custodial questioning that happens during such investigations, because now the accused has been arrested in the 3rd case?
We will get into the custodial questioning in detail, but prior to the custodial questioning, and we have been getting into such debates for a long time and in a number of cases, from R.J. Kar to Ankita Bhandari. Suffice to say that the pattern of indifference or the audacity of this whole system remaining blindfolded deliberately is very intriguing. And in this current case also, is not these 3 cases only. Before that, actress Rinni George, Hani Bhaskaran and Avantika, those complaints are there, and this fellow has been in this trade for a long time. The audacity of this person is certainly just unimaginable. Before this, we have the Hema committee, we have the whole backdrop of the Malayalam film industry. So this is the whole gamut in which we are operating as far as the current accused Rahul is concerned. So he is a habitual offender, and his antiques, his activities would be known to everybody in the Congress party and in the political class, where winnability is the only underlying factor, or that is the golden standard or the gold standard of getting into elections and getting into electoral politics and finally into government. So this fellow has been on the rampage. He is not only a habitual offender, he is a professional offender. We can also go to the extent of calling this whole gamut of things which has happened as India's Epstein. HEMA committee to this place, I think in number of cases, entrenched interest, and things will be taken to one level, and possibly after that nothing is going to happen. As far as the interrogation, custodial interrogation is concerned of the current accused, there are lots of things to be done. First is the digital evidence. This person has been roving all around the place on the social media, Instagram, to literally anything and everything, and the digital investigation of social media. Then his phone. So complete call details and the patterns thereof. There is a pattern in the modus operandi in which he has been dealing with his victim. There will also be a pattern which will be reflected in his digital behavior through his gadgets, through whatever is stored in his medium, and that getting connected to the physical places. He has been going to hotels, he has been going to a variety of places, he has been talking to people. In one instance, I think he had sent somebody carrying pills to one of the victims. So broadly, this whole gamut of things, and at the physical level, he would be interacting with any number of people. The hotels he has went, and variety of other physical spaces where he has visited in the last couple of years. So this will be the part of the investigation, the circumstantial evidence, the victims and the victim's statement and the victims, whatever they give it to the investigating officer. So that holds immense value. Added to that, digital investigation, circumstantial evidence, other witnesses. Now, why he was expelled? Now, those issues will also come. Why he was suspended? What nature of evidence available? Why the suspension happened? So, all these variety of things, if it is done in a really laborious and in a painstaking manner, I think it is sufficient enough to make it as a close and shut case and take him through the whole process of judicial trial and fix him up even in the Supreme Court. So, that is broadly where it is.
I want to now go across to Mr. Venkat Narayan. He's a senior journalist. You know, Mr. Narayan, multiple cases of highly educated individuals like doctors murdering their wives. This is not the first time. Though I'm not comparing the abilities of or the intelligence of a doctor to Rahul Mamkootathil, but I'm saying that how does fear of arrest and legal trouble override logic even in educated men in positions of power?
Vaishali, this guy seems to be a serial rapist. Only 3 cases have not come up. I expect many more similar complaints to be made in the coming weeks or months. You must remember that elections are barely 3 months away. The Congress party was hoping to stage a comeback this time because the LDF has been in power in Kerala for the last 10 years. But this even though the party has expelled this fellow several months ago, this is likely to cause some dent in the Congress party's fortunes in the electoral elections. And I think this guy is likely to be jailed for 10 years according to the existing laws. And the sooner the courts take a decision to give a punishment and lock up fellows like this, the better it is for the safety of women in our country. Vaishali?
All right. I want to go across to Charu Wali Khanna now. She's a former member of the National Commission of Women. Now, you know, Charu, today I'm also speaking as a woman. I'm not just speaking as a journalist. And, you know, when I look at this situation, though I'm not taking away from the fact, I have to clarify that what Rahul Mamkootathil has done is absolutely unpardonable, should be condemned, and he should be given the punishment that he deserves. But the question really is that, you know, there are multiple documentaries that have been made on this issue of men usually using marriage as a ploy. You know, when you're having a sexual relationship with a man and he promises you marriage, that may not really be the case. So my question to you is that, do you think, because we have to be fair, we have to look at both sides of the coin really, do you think that the women that he promised all of this to should have, thought about it really and should not have gotten into the situation to begin with?
See, I think there are two issues. Like, first, I'd just like to mention what the IPS gentleman said. He spoke about winnability, and the journalist, he spoke about the elections coming. Now, a person like this, he can win. What does that mean? That what kind of people are electing him? Is there some kind of toxic masculinity that we are glorifying, whether it's in our films like Animal or Kabir? I mean, is it that there's some latent violent desire that men have? That's why they idolize him and they allow him to win. I mean, I'm shocked that how can these people win? And the second issue is about the women. I mean, when he is not, it's not that he's an unknown person, it's one random case that he has promised, had sexual relations with a woman on the promise of marriage. I mean, are all the women so naive? Do they not know about his other relationships? Have they closed their eyes? I mean, there must be something more to it. There's something deeper, that he's going having multiple relationships with women, promising multiple women marriage, and multiple women close their eyes to the fact that he's indulging in this. And are they so naive? Firstly, in my opinion, though I don't think, as far as the law goes, I feel if you have a sexual relationship, it's a consensual relationship and it should have nothing to do with marriage. Otherwise, in India, marriage is a sacred, ceremony, and then you're not supposed to have sex before marriage. So if you're not supposed to have sex before marriage, then you should not make a claim that, I had sexual relationship on the false promise of marriage, because you should have had the sexual relationship later. But apart from that, we're not getting into the morals of it. The point is that knowingly that this is such a person and you're still indulging in a relationship with him, you still believe in him. I mean, what kind of, I will not use the word charisma, there must be something deeper to it, that he's able to entice so many women. He's able to seduce so many women. And apart from the men, he's able to, he's able to seduce so many men into believing that he should be a public representative. And like they said that he'll be getting just 10 years in jail, I don't think he's going to stay for 10 years. You've seen in these Ram Rahim cases, just before the elections, they come out on parole. So for all you know, he may come out of bail and he may be given a ticket by the party, if they feel he has a winnability factor. I mean, what is wrong with our society, that we are idolizing and choosing such people? There's something definitely wrong with our genes, I think, or the system in which we're being socialized, that violence against women is normalized.
All right, fair point, of course. Now I want to go across to Shamshravesh Rain, who is an advocate at the Supreme Court. Now, Shamshravesh, this is very interesting because how do courts distinguish between a failed relationship and a case of sexual consent obtained through deception?
Well, in this case, as the earlier speaker spoke, Miss Charu spoke, that first all the women in the relationship, were they below 18 years or they were more than 18? If they were more than 18, so what was their age? If it was of a very mental state, they were at a very reasonable age, be it 25 or more than that, the court is going to consider it that it is not a rape, because it is both have agreed to have sex in the marriage. So it was an affair that both were having, and then there was a breakup. So the lady has actually come up that she was raped. First, secondly, the court is going to see that now the law is that if a married woman is a man is having affair with a married woman, it is not a illegal offense now. It would be a ground for the husband to take a divorce, that my wife is having a affair with another man, but it would not be considered that it is an illegal act, and the man who was having the affair would be put behind the bars. So that is not the case over here now. So in this case also, so the accused who has actually come up and said that he had forced me for the abortion and all, and which led to ending my marriage. So this shows that she was well aware that having an affair out of the marriage is not a right thing to do, and it would eventually lead to a divorce, and because of her age and her education and everything the court would be seeing. So at the max, in this kind of a matter where a man is having multiple affairs, and which has led to sexual intercourse in that affair, but that does not mean that the man would be compelled to get married, because they all are of a reasonable age and not 18 or less than 18. So the court is going to see all of that in the matter, and then the case would move forward. So all of that, when it comes, the court will say that no, the case will not be of rape. I'm sure about that. But yes, the case could be of cheating, of any other section here, but not rape definitely, because of the age and the forcefulness and how long the affair was between both of them. It was not that they met just in a date they met, and then the sexual uh, uh, intercourse happened. It was not that case. So the affair started through a social media platform. They met. Affair started. It continued for next 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months, and then the breakup happened. And when the lady came up that I am pregnant or something of this sort, and then when she said, when she might have been asked to abort the child, that is where the entire conflict started. So let us see how trial comes up. But yes, definitely looking at the facts of the case, this won't be a case of rape. It might amount to a cheating or any other offense, but not rape.
Okay, I want to go across to Mr. Sanjay Sahai. Now, Mr. Sanjay Sahai, if we really talk about the role of digital evidence these days, social media chats, voice notes, uh, does that really play a role in exposing alleged abuse today?
See, we'll start with the third case. I'm not aware of the first two cases, the details of the first two cases, but as far as the third case is concerned, where this lady came to a hotel in Palakkad and then he went inside and he forced himself on her. As far as the third case is concerned, in which he has arrested, I find from an investigator's point of view, it is certainly a rape case, and there's enough and comprehensive evidence to prove the same. So now when we are getting to the digital evidence part of it, so before the digital evidence became so important, we used to generally struggle with physical evidence and circumstantial evidence. Wherever we were able to get physical evidence and forensic test reports, it used to be helpful for us if we operated only on circumstantial evidence, which was also the case in variety of cases. So those things were pretty difficult. But generally in a rape case, we go more by the survivor or the victim's point of view, and the whole thing is collected and collated in that direction. And nearly all cases in this country end in a charge sheet unless it is very whimsical or it is basically a fabricated and a cooked up story which the police is able to find out. I think in 2-3 rounds of investigation, there's nothing great about it. Coming to digital evidence, from the day one where any of these ladies got connected to this expelled MLA, the suspect, accused, whatever you call him. From there till the last day when he has been picked up, I think there is enough and sufficient digital evidence which will pin him down in a manner you would have never imagined. When digital evidence is there to prove all these things in a sequential manner, and there is a chain of evidence which we had in the physical, now we have the chain of evidence in the digital world also. And that chain of evidence substantiated by, there's an examiner of electronic evidence, so he substantiates under sections of the IT Act that this is admissible in the court of law. Besides this, there will be lots of leave aside the digital part. If we treat CCTV footage as also as a part of the digital evidence, there will be sufficient amount of digital evidence on the CCTV part, on the visual part of it, which can be forensically examined to prove large number of his movements from where he started and where he ended, the time taken. The other part is what we call as the metadata. So the digital evidence also has a metadata which provides you like in a picture. There are 16 or 18 metadata points inclusive of the camera. So variety of things are there. So I think there is sufficient evidence as far as this is concerned. His if you come by purely criminal investigation part, so his previous behavior You start from Rini George. You see his previous behavior. His behavior in the public domain, the way he has been managing things. And I'm repeating over and over again that we will see some headway only if the Congress party or whichever party in any other state or wherever the accused comes from and this whole regulatory system is up in arms. Today what is happening, we are discussing in a very cold-faced manner. That anger and that resentment is not there. It has been normalized to that extent. So only if that happens, otherwise it will be like the entrance system, which still continues in the Malayalam film industry. Cases have been registered, some arrests have been made. That is nearly all. There is sufficient and enough evidence as far as digital evidence is concerned, as far as the testimony of the victim is concerned, might be a couple or more people, and circumstantial evidence, also the CCTV footage. If the whole thing is stitched properly, I think it will lead to certainly a conviction. And conviction will certainly be not beyond whatever is prescribed in law.
You know, Mr. Sahai, like you're very interestingly also saying, and even I was thinking that when, as far as the third case is concerned, evidence is one aspect. We'll all have to see how this case progresses. But the question really is that if the woman is deciding to have a sexual relationship with a man and get pregnant and get the child aborted on his insistence and give him financial aid, that's actually consent. That's done with her own consent. So we'll have to see how this goes forward. But I want to go across now to Mr. Venkat Narayan, who's a senior journalist. Now, Mr. Narayan, do you think that political influence has affected the pace or direction of the investigation as far as this man is concerned?
I would like to think so, Vaishali, because until this lady from Canada, who was a resident of Palakkad but went to Canada and lodged this complaint early this month, she says that the first time he met her, he asked her to book a room, and there was a violent, assault on her. And then he started borrowing money from her and, said he will marry her if she gives a child to him and all that kind of stuff. But that is the modus operandi of these lecherous fellows, and I'm surprised that women in India particularly fall for these claims and all. And that is beside the point. But I think as the gentleman lawyer stated, I agree with him that there is a strong evidence to the effect that this was a clear case of rape and exploitation, and he deserves to be convicted for the maximum period of time, which is 10 years in this particular case, Vaishali.
All right. I'd like to and on that note, I'd like to thank all my guests for joining me on the broadcast. It's been an interesting discussion indeed. And with that, we're slipping into a short commercial break. I'll see you on the other side.